Hi everyone, Mark Holloway, CEO of Meridian Medical Staffing. Today we're going to continue our series of Understanding Your Offer. We've got a good one for you today. I'll give you a little background on this one. This is from a traveler of ours who worked for us for about 3 consecutive assignments. Great nurse, really solid. She's a day nurse, so challenging to recruit for her because she was very specific on where she wanted to go, but needed an ER job that was days only. And you guys that have traveled in the ER know how infrequently those jobs are available. So she jumped on a job, and we were obviously disappointed that she was going to head out. By the way, she's back with us again now, but that's a good ending for another story. But the bottom line is that she jumped in this position, and the truth was she didn't really have a clue what she had agreed to, which may surprise some of you. But to us, on this side of the desk and this side of the industry, we see this stuff all the time. What actually happened, if she got her first couple of paychecks, she was extremely concerned because it didn't seem to be adding up to what the offer looked like in her mind. And so she actually emailed her recruiter this offer, and we walked her through it. And as it turned out, it's incredibly vague. So she made some assumptions on what her take-home would be. Turned out they weren't. Now, the problem was she felt trapped. Many of you have been in that situation. You're on a bad assignment, or worst case scenario, you're in an assignment that's paying nothing, and you feel like you can't just haul off and leave because you don't have a job tomorrow. You're not getting a paycheck next week. It's a terrible situation to be in. So hopefully these videos, the idea here is to help you and educate you so you avoid those scenarios. If you're watching this series and you've watched any series on our website, and I encourage all of you to like our page. Once you do that, you can go back and look at a whole bunch of different videos on all kinds of different topics. We're trying to educate you from our standpoint, and we think it's going to be helpful for you to become a better, more armed, more educated traveler, which means more money and more protection for you. So here's a great example of a nurse that literally blindly signed a contract, trusting a company. And by the way, it's a decent sized company. I'm not going to mention their name, but they really got her good. Now, she ran and left skid marks when she was done with this assignment, but she finished the entire assignment because she's a good person. I personally would have said you were misled, and there's a good reason to be leaving an assignment and come back to work for us. But at the end of the day, she did the right thing. She finished an assignment. She just didn't have the proper understanding of what this assignment detail truly meant. And I've got it right here, so let me show it to you guys so you can understand it. Again, here's some of the breakdown, and we'll write this down up here. They're requiring, as you guys know, our magical number of 468 hours a week. So they're requiring that 468 total for the assignment. Bottom line is that she's getting paid $24.67. Now, here's where the confusion was. This says regular, wow, I can't even pronounce anything today because I'm amped up again. Regular hourly pay rate, $24.67. Then if you kind of come down to this line, it says minimum wage hourly pay rate, and it says $7.25. They put in some other stuff in between, but here was the confusion. Our nurse assumed that this was probably a taxable amount and that this $7.25 was an additional tax-free amount. Turned out that wasn't the case, and I'll explain that in the board here in a second. It mentions here that she's also getting, here's how they worded this, combined per diem / reimbursement. Doesn't say for what, it's very vague, it doesn't follow the GSA website, but it says must work a minimum hours per week. So assuming that if you don't work your 36, which is what it shows, we don't know. Are you going to get any of that? Are you going to get all of it, a portion of it, the percentage of it? It's hard to say. A couple other things that really aren't that important. They're doing a maximum travel of $240, so 120 on the start, 120 at the end. Again, no judgments on here, and no judgments on my opinion on how much this thing pays. It is a low-paying position as far as what we see in a national average, but that's not the point of today. The point of today is to really look at this stuff. I hope you guys got a good look at this because there's an incredible amount of vagueness in this assignment. You can't tell anything. It's the way they've worded some things. It's vague. So I understand why this nurse didn't understand her offer, which is what I'm hoping to educate you on. But the problem is she didn't question and ask the questions that you guys should be asking and get some things in writing. She just signed it, and then lo and behold, when she didn't get paid barely anything, she couldn't understand, why. And it's because she blindly signed a contract she should never sign. So here's the breakdown. Again, she assumed that she was making the $24.67 an hour plus an additional $7.25. As it turned out, what they were saying was actually the reverse. They were going to tax her on just the minimum wage and give her the remainder of that, which was $17.42 tax-free. completely wrong. I mean, obviously, you're talking about over almost 2/3 tax-free and 1/3 taxable. So I'd love to know what county. I know what county it is, and that county is not an expensive county to live in. They're also giving you an additional $240 a week, and I want to talk to you guys about that, about those extra hours, anything over 36 hours, what happens there. I always say I'm going to be fair. I like the overtime. Again, they're paying her almost double, because this assignment truly only paid $24.67 total, which was the difference between what they were giving her tax-free and what they were giving her taxable. So they're paying slightly over double time for overtime. What a shock that they're giving her that much money, because they're ripping her off for most of the assignment. For all those 36 hours, those 468 hours, she's getting ripped off. I've got the travel here. None of this stuff is that important, but I will say that this is nice of them to double the crappy rate that they're offering her. Let's break this down, as we always do. Again, this is that repetitive thing. I want you guys to really watch this. Do yourself a favor. Give yourself 10 minutes once a week, and I hope that it'll help you to start asking some questions of your agency. Obviously, what this amounted to for her was a $7.25 taxable income. Really low. This company wanted to make sure that her gross to net was really close, so they were giving her as much as they could tax-free, which is wrong and not the way the U.S. government wants it. I'd love to see how she would explain that should she ever get audited by the IRS. Very clearly, they're giving her $17.42. In this case, I shouldn't say very clearly, because you couldn't tell. I've got question marks on this because she didn't know. This is what it turned out to be, for a combined total of $24.67, that top amount. This $240 a week actually amounts to $6.67, I'll round that up, for a combined income of the whole assignment of $31.34. Again, my point is not to judge the price. That's for you guys to do. But the point of this one, and what has absolutely got me again amped up today, is that offer that I showed you guys is so vague that you are crazy to sign it. And I'm not trying to, this nurse is probably watching us, and I love you, and I won't mention your name, because I'm glad you're back. And thank you for admitting that you just kind of blindly did this, because I think more of you guys are doing this sort of thing. Clearly, a very smart, very well-educated veteran traveler signed a contract that she never should have, because she trusted a company. And besides our company, don't trust anybody. And don't trust us, but trust, and my famous phrase around is trust and verify. Once you've trusted somebody, verify that what they say is accurate. And that's how you stick to people, and that's how you end up having a lot of people that stay with your company, and you have the retention that we do. Because once you come to work for us, your checks look better, they look different, and we prove every single day what we put on this board. So here's the bottom line, and the thing I really want you to really notice. We talked recently, I did an interview, that we talk about what's called extra hours. Well, I'll just put it that way. What do I mean by that? What I want you guys to really pay attention to is, I want you to think all these offers come through with the assumption, and they kind of push you towards thinking about what it looks like on a 36-hour work week for those of you that are working 12-hour shifts. I want you to start thinking about what happens between 36 hours up till you start, getting overtime. So what do these 4 hours look like? And it doesn't matter if you're working 15 minutes of that, or 2 hours, 2.5 hours. This contract, once again, will pay you just this figure. This part, this extra $667, is a weekly amount. You don't get that. So instead of really making $31.34 for hours, from this 4-hour period, if you should work over 36 hours, all you're making is $24.67. And here's the thing I hope you guys really listen to. None of us agencies have a reduced bill rate for these amounts of money. It's the same, which means we're making the exact same amount of money from hours 36 to 40 as we did from 0 to 36. So ask yourself a question: why is it that you are reducing those hours simply because a company has decided to put this into a weekly lump sum, which also is wrong? Well, actually, it's kind of right. I shouldn't say that. They're doing it the right way from the IRS standpoint, but they're doing you a very big disservice by keeping that money. This is your money. With our company, we would have the total amount that you're making, and you would get all of that. And there's a few companies out there that do this, but this has become the industry standard, and you guys need to stop settling for it. A lot of you are asking me, well, what do I do if this is the way my company presents it? And here's a great response. Don't work for that company. Come work for me. Come work for our recruiters. We won't do that to you, and I will show you in writing, and you'll see it, because very few of you guys actually work 36 hours a week. Usually you're working anywhere from 37 and a half to maybe 39 hours. So every single week you're losing, in this case, it doesn't seem like a lot, right? It's only $6.67 pre-tax. You start adding that up of over 52 weeks a year and how many hours you're working, it's thousands of dollars that you're just letting a company keep. These companies, think about what they're doing. If they've got 100, 200, 300 nurses, how much money is that in their pocket every week? And again, the point is, it's a bigger profit margin. They're actually reducing your pay and increasing their margin. We don't do that. Guys, start looking at the fine line. If you have questions, don't be ashamed to ask. I don't understand this contract to your recruiter. If he or she can't explain it to you, go further up the chain. And by the way, take nothing for granted in verbally. If they're telling you you're gonna make something, have them have the contract show that very, very clearly, or don't work for that company. You guys, again, the point of this video and the point of our company, we are absolutely and consciously trying to make a difference in this industry. We're trying to do things differently that you guys have just started to assume is an industry standard. Guess what? It's not with everybody. So if you're tired of losing this kind of money, pick up the phone and give us a call. And I will have any one of my recruiters will be able to walk you through how we do it and how it should be done. And by the way, how it used to be done before all these companies decided to start getting greedy and reducing your money, thereby increasing their money. All right, so I appreciate today. Hopefully this one's helped. Again, I'm getting a little bit amped up because it's just frustrating to me to watch a lot of you guys get taken advantage so heavily. Like our page, and that way you'll be able to go back and you can go all the way back to the history of our page and look at all the different informative videos we had. And hopefully these videos are making you a better and stronger and more educated traveler, which is our point. We think if you're better educated and stronger, you're going to eventually work for us. I'm guaranteeing I'm not the smartest guy watching this video, but I'm smart enough to understand if we do things better than other companies, you guys will come running to us, which is what's happening. So we appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week for another one.